Welcome to the realm of pages. I hope you're doing great, and if you're not, I hope you are soon. So today I'm going to review the Blood Sword, I would call it game book series, but it's not just game books. They're really old. I think they're from the 80s or 90s, but think about a game book like Fighting Fantasy, but it also has battle scenarios. So you read through the game book, you do different stuff. You have a party of 4 adventurers. This is super high fantasy, like super cool. Love it. And you actually, when you encounter a fight, you have to set up a terrain. You have to have something that represents your characters, and you need to track your characters, which I've done here. I'm not going to spoil anything, but these are the different characters. There's a warrior, trickster, sage, and enchanter. I've named them, they've leveled up, etc., because I'm on book 4 right now. And you can choose to either use a terrain that you draw yourself, like this. I also use a Kingdom Death Monsters board and just set the boundaries because all the different stages are different, and then you get instructions for the monsters. You can either use tokens or miniatures, and I actually use miniatures from Kingdom Death Monster, and even painted some of them red in the base because, you know, Blood Sword, just to make that clear. I'm just going to get a good image of these minis. So that is a warrior in my campaign, that is a trickster, that is a sage, and that is the enchanter, kind of magician type. And that's all the dice I'm using, and you need to keep track of a lot of things. So it's kind of a mixture of, think like, I don't know, like a board game like Gloomhaven and a game book. So it's very different, it's very fun. It's my favorite game book series of all time. Now, it's been a while since I played it. I played it a lot a couple of years ago in the autumn, like 1 or 2 years ago. And I got to book 4 and then I stopped because that was, you know, it's a lot of alone time. It's a lot of stuff you need to prepare your own, and you're just playing on your own. And it takes quite a while to finish a book. I have to say that, but I also found all the books on Amazon because they were recently reprinted. And up until a few years ago, I think they were really hard to find. Like, you could only find PDFs on the internet. So these are relatively new editions, and it's just a really great format and a really good time to have fun on your own or with friends, because you're actually supposed to play this, like, you can play this with one character, but then it gets much stronger, but you're kind of limited in what you can do. But if you have all the characters with you, you have more opportunities, more possibilities, and more maneuverability in the different battles. So just to show you, I'm holding my phone. Just wait one moment. I record everything like one take, so there are pros and cons with that, but just gonna set it up so I can show you stuff in the book. One moment. Thank you for waiting. Let's see here. Let us see here. So I can show you the book. Now, before we do that, this is just a paper I use to track different enemies. I write it down with a pen, and then I can, you know, erase it. And these are the different books. I'm on book 4, and I'm just going to show you some stuff from book 1. So let's set up the camera here, and I'll show you what things are like in this book series. So here's book 1. So basically, it's like a game book. Let's focus. It's like a game book. It's a really cool story of four kind of adventurers coming to a big city, and there's a lore, and here's a tutorial. So you have a game book thing, and then you have a scenario, and it tells you how big the room is, it tells you where the enemies are, and it tells you where you're supposed to be. 1, 2, 3, 4 are your characters, are numbered. So that's really cool. This is just some intro with some attributes, how you're supposed to play the game, how you're supposed to move, and different actions you can do. Move, you can do fight, you can do defend, you can shoot, you can flee, and the magician can use spells, which has a system of itself, which I love. There's armor rating, there are different weapons, there's encumbrance, you can carry a max of 10 weapons, and there's a system with experience points, different kinds of magic, and, you know, if you want one character, that's one thing. If you want 2, 3, or 4 characters, you can play this game solo or with other people. So there are some rules here, and here's like a character sheet that you can use as a template. And here's a warrior. So here's one of the 4 characters, and at different levels, what the stats are, and all the characters have the same starting items and stuff like that. Oh shit. Sorry, needed to sneeze. So, apologize for that. And so you have like intro stuff, different characters, different spells, etc. The spells are super cool too. And here you have a map of the world, and I think the lore is really cool. It's super dark and it's super cool. It's like dark fantasy. And here the storybook starts. So this is the first passage, and then you have different choices you can make. If you have different characters, you can actually try different abilities and different skills and like perception checks. It's really, really cool. I highly recommend this series. And then to show you a typical fight, there was one too, but a typical fight is like the following. You get, for example, here, you get the layout of the map. Here we're here, and then you get D is for Dirgeman. In this situation, you have stats here, and you know exactly how that character or enemy is going to fight when you have the stats. And you have your own characters, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you have their stat sheets, which you already have. You know their equipment, you know where they're supposed to stand, you know their stats, you know everything from the stat sheet. So that's basically how it works. So while you're exploring the world, it's a game book, but as soon as you get to an encounter, it turns into a board game, which is really cool. And as I said, I use the board for Kingdom Death Monster, and I just take terrain from Kingdom Death Monsters to set the borders. I just flip the terrain upside down, so it's like black borders. So that's basically it, guys. This is really cool. I'm looking forward to this autumn and winter, get back into it and finish the 4th and 5th books. And one book will last you for a long time. Like this first book, I think I played this for 2 or 3 weeks, because it depends on how honest you want to be. Because, you know, if you make one mistake, everyone can die. It's an old school game book series, but you can also learn from previous playthroughs. You can have a system where you save the game, because I did, you know, because otherwise I would never be able to complete them. They're really tough. So I promised myself that I can save the game at certain points. And once I did that, it was much easier, because I could write down things on the sheet and then, you know, like a save point, just load the game where I was and get back to that, because some places are just unreasonable. So you can do that by, you know, when you use a sheet, you can take a picture of it with your phone, and then you saved it to that. And if you go back to that point, you can just write everything as it was before. And the characters can have 10 items each, and they have different stats. They can evolve different weapons. You will come by different weapons, but they're very rare. I think I got like, I don't even know if I got a new weapon for everyone yet, and I'm on book 4. So it's a very, very rare. And the story is, I'm not going to spoil anything, but the story is about the blood sword itself, which is a very like special kind of sword, and there's a purpose to it. Just to summarize the story of the different books, I would say the first book, Battlepits of Krarth, is some of the best intros to anything that I've ever experienced. It's so much fun. It's like a tournament. So I can tell you about the intro. Like these 4 adventurers come to a big city, like a super big city, and the nobles of that city have a tournament every now and then, where different groups of warriors representing powerful magicians go down into the battle pits of Krarth, which are under the city of Krarth, and they fight to find a special object, let's say it like that. And the one that succeeds, or the group that succeeds, wins for that time. And I think that dictates who gets to rule Krarth for the future. So that happens every now and then, and you're one of these parties if you manage to live through or live even to the competition. So you're in the beginning, they're going to the city of Krarth, they're looking for a patron basically that they can serve, and to get into this competition, so to say. It's like, yeah, it's basically a lot of fighting and a lot of death, and a very dangerous thing, and a lot of unexpected things can happen. It's just fun and amazing. It's a self-contained story in and of itself. So if you just want to get it, just get it and try it. It's a lot of fun. And the second book is where the story starts taking off. There's some lore. You go to a different place. I'm not going to spoil anything, but things get moving. Things get moving here too. A lot of things get moving and get a lot of momentum to books 4 and 5, which I started a little bit with book 4, but I'm going to continue with that pretty soon. So that's basically the rundown of it this far for me. I've had a lot of fun. Let me know if you've tried this before, if you're experienced with this, or if you're just stoked to try it, because I love board games that are kind of like RPG-ish, like Gloomhaven, Kingdom Death Monster, stuff like that, and stuff like that too. That is part of my board game collection that you can see there. So I like different kinds of games, but I mostly like games where you have miniatures and characters and just, you know, fantasy, old school fantasy fun. So that was basically it, guys. Highly recommend this. If this sounds appealing to you, it's a good mixture between role-playing game, board game, and game books, old school game books, and just so much fantasy. It's like an overload of epic fantasy. You're not going to be disappointed. I also use these cardboard standees and a lot of dice for the game. So that's basically it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I just want to open people's eyes to Bloodsword because there's like no content about this out there. It's like it was totally dead. There was one YouTube video of a guy playing the game, and I think on YouTube. So that's all there is, and you can check it out for some gameplay and like inspiration. And it's really fun. That's what got me started and got me to order the books. Highly recommend it. A one of a kind experience. Never had an experience like this, and I can't wait to continue once I have the time. So that was it, guys. Take care and cheers.